Okay.
Excellent.
We'll let Dan start it off.
Yeah, I'd like to call this Traffic Safety Advisory Board meeting to order. I need to get a second, don't I?
Do we have to?
I can't recall. Maybe not. All right, we'll call to order.
Call to order and I'll do roll call.
Excellent, thank you.
So Daniel Ilion,
Present.
Benjamin Hurt,
Here.
John Kilstrom,
Here.
Mindy Prosky is not here. Andrew Rathbun, not here. Kenneth Ingstrom,
Here.
Michelle Hellstrom. Here. Council Liaison Labonte is not here either. So, okay. Back
Okay.
to you.
I move to approve the February 23rd meeting minutes.
Second.
We'll need a motion first.
Motion to approve the February 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes.
Second. John
We
Kilstrom.
got several seconds. So I will take roll to make sure everybody. Michelle?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Ken?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed.
Excellent, thank you. Next on our agenda is business from the board. Open it up for discussion on business from the board. Did that last time too. I went straight to roundtable discussion, but
Yeah.
we're doing business from the board first.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's kind of redundant when we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something in the last minute said that some recommendations would be sent to Daniel Elin for considerations.
And I have not received recommendations, at least since the last meeting. I did miss the last meeting that I was not at it. But I know Ben Hurt has put together a spreadsheet that he shared at one of our meetings a couple months ago with a pretty detailed breakdown of traffic crashes and accidents within the Gladstone area. And so I did receive a link to that spreadsheet that I'm kind of looking through and kind of sorting through on my own. I think that is some data that we'd really like to filter through a little bit more and use to help facilitate some of our discussions at this board.
I think, were you guys going to narrow it down to more specific days and times and?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and I believe that was the discussion. And Ben, maybe you can step in because I know you were leading this at the last meeting, but some input from the board on recommendations for specific days and times and or corridors to look at.
Can everyone hear me, or is it just you, Mindy?
Can you guys
Okay.
hear him? No?
Slightly. You have to speak up, Ben.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay, here one.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, yeah, regards to last month or last meeting, the TSP stuff, I think what we heard is that the TSP isn't gonna be updated, because it was already good to go, so we don't need to provide anything for the TSP because it's not gonna be updated. And then the second thing about the information is, yeah, that's correct. It was drilling into time of day and certain days of the week. So is it 8 a.m.s on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays? Is it 10 p.m.s on Thursdays and Fridays? Things like that. We had that information. It just takes time to sort through. And so that's one of the things we got to work through.
Yeah, and that's something I've got on my plate once I find time away from all of my coaching to drill into that data on my own. I'd like to actually take what Ben's already put together and put it in a more consumable format that does look at specific time of day. So I think for now that's an action item that's on my list to do outside of this meeting, and then bring some of that data and information to this meeting so that we can filter through it and actually use it in a more informed manner. Okay. Anything else on business from the board before we move on to roundtable discussion?
Just so everyone knows, I'm going to call Andrew present for the meeting. No, you're fine.
Thank you. Welcome, Andrew. All right, with that, let's move on to roundtable discussion.
John Kilstrom, I have two items, probably three. I've had a couple of residents come to me and talk about red light running. It's almost epidemic, especially on McLaughlin, which I know is a state road, but it's not just a car here and there. There'll be like 2, 3 cars in a row. They'll just run the red lights. I just see it all over the place, even on Webster and Oatfield. So it's becoming quite significant at the speeds people want to run. It's going to get pretty dangerous, but people are concerned about that. Second item I want to understand is on the works pages on page 6B5. It talks to thermal stop bars have been installed throughout town. What are thermal stop bars on the street?
So my understanding is thermal stop bars likely are related to the type of paint. The thermoplastic type paint,
Okay.
and then stop bars. And this is just me speaking from my civil engineering traffic background. So if anyone else has other input, but that's my assumption is that it's related to the type of paint.
We can get that answer for you and I can send it out. I'll try to get that.
Okay.
The last item I'll just mention is that we have events coming up. 5/16 is the shred and drug take back, and on 5/30 is the bicycle rodeo.
And I'm sure everybody's signed up for what they can do for volunteer wise. Yep.
I would just like to note that we discussed the intersection at Oatfield and Webster several times. And after the last meeting or the meeting before that, I sent an email to Yvonne to see if the owner could trim the bushes, or if it was, not that it was a code violation, but it would be nice to trim the bushes and trees. And she said she would contact the Public Works and see if they could contact the owner. And so I don't know if that's in progress or not, but I haven't heard anything, and the bushes are still the
Was
same.
the corner, what was the corner?
Oatfield and Webster.
On Webster.
And also, I happened to notice on Facebook, there's a Gladstone chit chat group or something similar. And on that, someone asked, what are the worst traffic issues in the city? And Arlington and McLaughlin was one, but they noted that was a state responsibility. And the other was Webster and Oatfield. And so I thought, well, that's interesting that it's coming from a different source, that's an area of concern.
Did you want to talk, Ben?
Yeah, when we're done with those, I just had something I wanted to add to the list.
Okay. Were you done, Ken?
What did he say?
You done?
Were you finished?
Yes, I'm done. I just wanted to note those two things. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Ben, you can go ahead and then we'll go on down the line.
Yeah, and I know last time we talked, I think the chief shared that ODOT had talked to us or the city about the proposed intersection improvements at oh, is it Arlington and McLaughlin there and what's coming? So I didn't know if there'd been anything to share there. And the other thing I wanted to note was I saw, I think in Jackie's weekly report that there's going to be a striping project for, I can't think of the street off the top of my head. It's blanking on me.
Dartmouth?
Yes, the Dartmouth striping project. Is there any updates on what that'll look like or when that's coming?
We do not have any updates at the time. Chief Schmerber's on vacation, so I haven't heard anything from Public Works. I don't know if you have, so.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing.
Okay. Lieutenant has nothing, no updates also.
Okay. I think it said it said it would be discussed at a traffic safety advisory board meeting and in the sharing, so I was curious, but that may just be next time. So look forward to that.
Okay, if I get any information before the next meeting, I will send it out.
Will this board have any opportunity to review the plans as part of the design process?
To do what?
To review the plans and provide any input or anything, or is that just Public Works and their consultant?
I think it's just Public Works, but I don't want to speak for them, so I can ask that question and get back to you guys, let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I did. Had one thing that I'd seen, and I think it was Jackie's weekly report. That there's a new requirement that any adding or removing any trees in that strip of lawn on your property that's public right away, uh, you need to get permission before that. So I was just wondering if that had anything to do with traffic or what was the genesis of that
I think it's aesthetics,
aesthetics.
but I don't want to speak for Jackie, so.
Okay.
And I forgot to say Lieutenant McNabb is here too. Sorry. He's present. Sorry. So I'll find out about the trees also. So, sorry, I'm not very informed tonight.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
All right, before we move on, or maybe as we transit, well, first off, are there any other open discussion items?
Just for information, the city council did approve the paving of 3 streets. I'm not sure which ones. This is actually paving, and then I think also there's probably going to be slurry seal on the streets this summer too.
Thank you. All right, before we move on to the police department update, and again, this may be a transition to the police department update, but I was curious if, Lieutenant, you could give us a little update. I read the e-bike monthly update that was sent out, which I thought was very interesting. I was wondering if you could kind of go into that a little bit, or if maybe you were planning on doing that in the police update.
You talked about what was on the monthly.
Yes. Yes, and I'm speaking from I have a 14-year-old and I know about 10 to 12 of his friends, 13, 14-year-olds that have e-bikes now. And I've noticed more and more and more activity, and I'm just kind of curious what the approach is to the e-bike ordinances and kind of how things are potentially transitioning here in Gladstone.
Yeah, and I apologize. I don't have a lot on that. I know it's been it's been a hot topic as these bikes have become more popular. There's sort of this ongoing discussion about how Gladstone wants to navigate that. Do they want to have an ordinance outside of what is in ORS? And that discussion is sort of ongoing, if that makes sense. I know that it's something that's, I think, has been discussed for quite some time. The wheels of government sometimes can move a little slowly, so.
Yep. Okay. No, I appreciate that. And I understand we have talked about it. It has been brought up in the past and even within the past year and a half. So I think it is something that it's obviously not going away.
No.
And so I think it'll continue to be very high on our list of priorities to understand it and understand potentially the changes that may be coming from an ordinance perspective, if they are coming at any point. So,
Yeah, and anything ordinance wise regarding e-bikes and regarding traffic safety, I would assume would be obviously brought up here also.
Mhm.
The same way I'm going to bring up another issue. It's not completely traffic safety related, but it can affect this body. So
So I guess one last call for open discussion before we move on to the lieutenant.
Just on e-bikes, it states that they have to be 16 years or older, and so many of them aren't. So that's going to be an issue if that becomes enforced.
yeah, it's a kind of a hard thing. It's once you go down that path of how do you enforce it specifically? How do you know if they're 16 years old? There's a lot of I think there's a lot of ambiguity in some of these laws sometimes that doesn't help us a whole lot. And I think that's where sometimes ordinances can come in and sort of clarify language and make it easier for us to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I can see potential things that somebody gets hurt, gets caught between a car and a curb, or smacks into a car or something, and then they're 14 years old, and somebody says, "Well, why aren't the laws enforced?" And
Mhm. Yeah, and I think as the technology gets better and these bikes get faster, as we've seen, I mean, I know when I bought my first e-bike, it only go like 20 miles an hour. Well, these things go a lot faster now. They're almost like motorcycles. And I think that it's probably going to be very important for the state and for cities to keep up with that technology.
Okay, last call for open discussion. All right, Lieutenant.
So City Administrator Betts just wanted me to bring this to you all's attention. Cracksburger currently has a sign that sits at the entrance. It's just I think it's one of those magnetic signs they put up messages on. They're looking at changing city code so that they can install a reader board there essentially, and with very specific rules around that, things such as it can only be so big. I think the one that they want to put up is 32 square feet. It's 5 feet tall. It'll have messages that stay up for at least 8 seconds so that there's no strobes or anything like that. At nighttime, they'll only be allowed to be so bright, and it's a project that's going to be put on by the robotics team. I think it's all donated money, and the robotics team is planning on installing the sign. But before we do that, we have to change the ordinance to allow those signs in the residential area, and they're going to copy some language from Hillsborough that surrounds around the brightness of the sign and the size of the sign and that sort of thing. So.
What type of messages are we talking about on these signs?
I assume school
related?
announcements
Okay.
is what it's going to be,
Okay.
So whatever they put up there. So.
Okay.
Any questions? What's that? Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously.
So is that kind of if you were going to do drop off, the kind of where you coming in for pickup or drop off, that's this kind of spot right there.
Yeah, right
On
where
that
the
fence.
sign is right now.
Yeah,
If you drive
okay.
up there, you'll see where because I specifically asked that, is it going in the same spot? I drove up there. It doesn't look like it'll be an inconvenience for any residences up there. I think their biggest thing is making sure that it doesn't cause people to have issues while they're driving.
Yeah.
All right, looks like no further questions on that.
That's all I have.
Well, I would move to community input, but it appears we do not have anybody unless we have anybody on the call.
We do not.
We could make Ben part of the community and make him give us input.
Anybody have any questions on the monthly reports? No.
I didn't see anything, but I guess I'd just ask you, Lieutenant, was there anything over the last month that seemed like an outlier, out of the ordinary, exciting? I didn't see anything in particular, but
No, and I hate to use the Q word, the quiet word, but it's been nice for us.
Yeah.
This month. Obviously, our traffic citations are up. Sometimes when our call load is lower, it allows our officers to do a little more traffic. I think our citations were up, both parking and moving citations.
I'm curious what the parking citations are. Those generally over at Meldrum Bar Park, or where are those occurring?
Yeah, most of them are Meldrum Bar.
Okay.
There's also some outliers, some areas where we're having issues with parking, whether it be in cul-de-sacs and people parking straight in and not up against the curb or something. We had that issue for a while. Sort of our goal from this point on is when we have these complaints, that we do an outreach on social media to just notify people like, hey, we're having these complaints, rather than just slapping tickets on people's cars. I'd rather educate, and that's sort of a direction we're gonna try to go when it comes to these issues.
So I'm curious, that's actually quite a large increase from year to date last year. So it's 135% for the parking citations. So going from 300 to 715. In your mind, do you think that's the enforcement being cracked down, or are we seeing more folks breaking the rules of parking, or is it increased enforcement? Or maybe you don't know the answer.
Yvonne's just always busy. She
Yvonne,
is,
yeah.
you know, when her name came up earlier regarding something she was supposed to look into, I know when I go talk to her tomorrow, I can almost promise you she's already started conversations. It's very rare that she doesn't take care of those kind of things. She's busy, and so it's a combination of everything, is what I would say. Activity, rule breakers, what have you.
I know she's been very busy over the last weekend with fishing boats down there. You can walk across the river on the boats, and
Yeah.
then soccer. She walks the line with the soccer.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
see her every Saturday.
Soccer season's a big one for us,
Yep.
and the boat ramp has been extremely busy. I've been here a little over a year and a half now, and I don't know that I've ever seen it so busy down there. So
I know Ben would like to speak.
Yeah, I had a question, and I missed this in a previous update, but I saw that there's been one accident, injury, or fatal so far this year, which is down 75% overall. But I was curious, do you have any details on that injury or fatal accident that had happened so far this year?
No, I know it wasn't fatal. It was just an injury accident, but I don't have the details with me.
Okay. It would be if we have more of those updates, it would be really awesome to have some just information on what happened or where it was or kind of the cause. Just some background information on those types of things would be really helpful in any sort of update.
Sure, I can send that out to you guys also as well.
Are there any other questions for Lieutenant?
Andrew wanted to speak. Did you have something, Andrew?
No, well, I guess how's it been with all that construction down there by Safeway on that road? I don't even know what you call it. Is that still, what road is that? 82nd. Has there been any issues with that, or no?
there hasn't. They've done a really good job. I thought that would be a little chaotic when they started that, and whatever company's doing that work has done a good job of keeping traffic flowing. We haven't had complaints other than from when they first set up. We had some complaints down there, but that's been months ago. So
Nice.
Okay. Any last comments from any folks here? Then I'm going to move to adjourn.
Second.
Do roll, Daniel,
Yep.
Benjamin,
Yes.
John Kilstrom,
Yes.
Andrew Rathbun,
Yes.
Smith Ingstrom,
Yes.
Michelle Hellstrom.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.